to do another video about being a female Uber driver. I get so many questions every day when I'm taking passengers here, there and everywhere that I thought I would construct a Q&A based off those frequently asked questions that I get asked really frequently. How long have you been an Uber driver? Well, I started driving in January this year, so January 2016. It's now May, so it was near the end of January, so I'm going to say about 4 months. Do you like it? Yes. I wouldn't do it if I didn't like it. People ask this question all the time. The very first thing anyone will ever ask, hands down, and I can predict this, is how long have you been an Uber driver? The second question is, do you like it? And I genuinely do like it. I like it because it's really flexible. The fact that I don't have a boss, I don't have to answer to anyone, I don't have to do minimum hours, I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do, essentially. I am a visual artist, as you would probably know, so my schedule with my art career is all over the place. To have something as flexible as Uber, where I can get up, get into the car at 5 AM if I want to, I can get up and get into the car at lunchtime if I want to. I don't do that, but having the flexibility and having the choice is 100%, it has changed my life. Is it safe? Yes. The way I see it, it's everything, all of your movements, whoever is in your car, whoever as a passenger whose car you're in, all of the details about that car, about that person, about that trip is completely tracked. So the way I look at it is, if you're getting on a bus, if you're just hailing a taxi, any kind of public transport, you don't have that part of the trip that you do with Uber, how everything is tracked by your GPS and by all of your information and all of your driver's information. I feel really confident and safe in the fact that everything is completely tracked, all of the information is right there, and if we need to sort out or solve any problems, it can be done really efficiently. Is it easy to sign up? Yes, really it is relatively easy. It's all online based, so you just go on to uber.com or .com.au, whatever country you're in or city you're in, and it's a very, very simple online process. So you just enter in your personal details about your vehicle, your insurance, your license, and your driving history. Once you have given all of that to Uber, and all you do is upload that online and send that to them. Once they've received that, you just pop to one of their live sites around the city. They have a couple, and you take your vehicle along. They do a quick inspection just to make sure it's completely sound, and then you also, on their computers that they provide, you do a criminal check, which is free. So don't do what I did and get all confused in the beginning and go and do an online criminal check because that's what you thought you had to do. You don't. What's the longest distance or biggest fare you've ever had? People love to ask this. It's like they think that I've driven up to Byron Bay from Sydney or something. That doesn't happen. Usually the longest, you've got to think of it as like, what are people gonna get in a taxi and pay? Although Uber is a lot cheaper than taxis, it's still that same idea. It is still, it's going to be a big fare for a big distance. So while you may think I might be tripping around for hours and hours, it doesn't really happen. I don't know anyone who would pay for an Uber to even go to like Newcastle, which is like an hour and a half away. The longest distance I've gone is, I never really keep track of kilometers, but the longest distance in time is probably about 40 minutes. Would be going way out west from the city, and usually you get, it's about a $50 or $60 fare. So that is a lot if you're an Uber passenger to be paying to be driven out there, but at the same time it's not, because if you're living in Sydney, everything is expensive. Time is money. So business people or people who need to quickly get out to meetings in the deep western suburbs, then I guess it's worth it. I've also dropped someone off near Drury, which is like the most amazing out of Sydney, like horse country type area. So that was, you know, a really decent fare. But the thing is, which people don't really think about, if you get taken all the way out of the city, you do have to come all the way back. And while most of the time it does work out, if you're in a peak time, you can get really lucky and you might get someone coming from the west or wherever you are, but generally it's the west. And for Sydney, you get someone who's coming back some of the way, if not all of the way. But believe me, that doesn't always happen, and that can be a real pain, because yeah, you might be getting a $50 fare, but if you're then spending an hour coming all the way back into the city, that's an hour where you're not earning any money. So it's just swings and roundabouts. Can you pick up from the airport? In Sydney, no, you can't. And people always ask me this. Do you drive at night? Generally, no. I will drive at like the early evening. Over the summer, I would drive sometimes sort of late, anywhere from like to like 8, 9 or 10 p.m. But I pick the days. Like, I definitely don't do that on a Saturday night or a Friday night. When in the summer, when it stays light until about 9 o'clock, it was a lot easier to do that. And then you would just sort of be catching people on their way out to dinner or to the movies or that kind of thing. So it's okay, but I definitely draw the line. Now that it's winter and darker, I don't even generally drive after like 6 p.m. I don't like driving at night time. I much prefer to drive around in the day, and I pick my peak times that I drive, which is the morning and then sometimes in the afternoons. And then on the weekends, on Saturdays especially, I would drive all day during the Saturday if I had nothing else on. I'm not keen for that. I don't want that. I don't want the repercussions and all the sort of other stuff that comes along with middle of the night. What do people tell you? I get told a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily want to know, but the thing with Uber is, the thing I love about it is that it's so friendly, it's so open and honest, and it's a really comfortable environment. I really enjoy being able to provide a really nice clean car, and you know, play like some nice music, and just being able to have a chat to people if they want to. Basically within a few minutes you realise, or within the first minute you figure out whether people are sort of wanting to chat or not wanting to chat. I generally leave it up to the passenger to kind of lead that conversation, where, you know, I always start with a hi, how you going, and confirm where they're off to and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, you can 100% tell if people want to keep talking because they just keep talking. I've had all sorts of people tell me about relationships, I haven't prompted any of this conversation. This is just what people have launched into. My friends joke that I'm Dr. G because people just like to tell me things, and I swear some people treat it as therapy. There should be a therapy tip. I've had all sorts of really odd stories. I've had lots of really drunk people, and not at times that you would think they would be drunk. All sorts of stories about drunken escapades, about their relationships. One guy was like, oh, my girlfriend's amazing, she's beautiful, so intelligent, she's just like the best thing ever, but I don't know where it's going. I don't want to know this stuff. I don't want to talk to you about how you feel your relationship is going. I don't know you. Do you get dodgy people? Sometimes you do. I haven't had any like creepy people. Most people are just, they're dodgy, but we have a laugh, so it's okay. I'm pretty good at sort of making an awkward or odd experience just a bit more lighthearted, and I laugh a lot of things off, and I can make some sort of little jokes and stuff, so you sort of just disarm that whole weirdness. But there are just some people, and this is what I really don't like, some people are just so rude. I had one girl and she just barked orders the whole way of where to go, this and that, and no, turn around, you're going the wrong way. And it's like, I don't mind if people want to tell me how to go somewhere, but it's all about how you deliver a message. Like, treat people how you want to be treated. Put a little bit of a friendly, like, tone to what you're saying, and life would just be so much easier for you, for those type of people. That kind of thing makes my blood boil, because there is no reason to be rude. You do not need to live your life snapping at people, not using your manners. It's very easy to say please and thanks, or just, even if you're not feeling great about yourself that day, or you're in a bit of a shitty mood, put that aside and just be nice to the people around you. What's been the worst passenger story? Well, I'm going to finish this whole Q&A off with this one because it is quite a hefty story, and I don't know, it was really intense. I was picking up a female on a Sunday morning, and it was a really gloomy Sunday. It was sort of raining on and off, wasn't very nice, but it was about 9 a.m. So off I went, like found her, and she was like dressed in like festival kind of clothing, like just not gloomy Sunday morning type stuff, and I was like, oh, she's probably on her way home from like a fun night, whatever. So, you know, I asked where she was going, and she did say clearly what the address was, and so I was like, yeah, no problem, on the way. And then next minute I look in the mirror and she's completely conked out, like in the back. And so I was like, whoa, okay, she's obviously had a big night. So off I get to her address. What happened next was really awful, and it was so intense and quite scary. She didn't wake up, and I couldn't wake her up. Yeah, 4.5 to 5. I've just done a morning run, so it's Monday now. I started last Wednesday.